Hello and welcome to One Player. Today on the table, something a bit different, something I've lightly threatened before, but never actually followed through with. And today I'm building a jigsaw. Yep, it's a puzzle. And I don't know, I had reservations because maybe nobody wants to listen to me talk while doing a puzzle. Obviously, as you can see, this is sped up quite a bit. This is the most footage I have ever shot for a one-player video. This took me just over 6 hours of recording. So yeah, this is about 1000% speed, and this 39 minutes before you is a result. Again, I don't usually do this kind of commentary either, where it's like post-recording. Everything's usually recorded at the same time, like while I'm playing a game. So I don't know exactly where this is going to take us, but that's never quite stopped me before. Yeah, here we are. I realized pretty quick into this puzzle that the whole like start at the edges thing was probably not going to work, given that all the edge pieces are actually part of like a frame, so like they all look exactly the same essentially. So I started by dividing up into colors, given that the main focus of the puzzle was going to be like those big Technicolor letters. And then I kind of collected the edge pieces for later, so you can see I'm making some piles. And I've got you know, starting my way onto some oranges. But really, this is just about flipping all the pieces over and seeing what color they are. So lots of fun. But yeah, this is a painting by Wayne White. He's an illustrator and a puppet maker. His big break was working on Pee-wee's Playhouse, which is a show that I didn't grow up with personally, but definitely in the same scope as some of the shows that I did watch as a kid. Like I remember there was one like, you know, kind of similarly zany house and puppets that talked and weird adventures with the mailman, you know, that kind of stuff. Kind of giant cartoony like mishmash. And yeah, obviously he's gained some more notoriety as a painter. He paints these like giant kind of typographical like billboard letters over reproductions of like vintage landscapes. I imagine him like going thrifting or like being a very successful thrifter. But yeah, it's just like nonsensical, like whimsy, cartoony, but like self-aware. I don't know. It's kind of cool. He has a TEDx talk that's actually pretty fun about his life and his inspirations, and it's definitely worth checking out. I'll throw it down in the description. Because yeah, he's from Tennessee. He talks a lot about like following his dreams and following his art, and I think that's kind of wonderful. Like he goes to New York City and gets a big break on Pee-wee's Playhouse and making these like weird puppet shows and all this stuff. I mean, yeah, I think it's really cool. When I was a kid, I definitely wanted to be a cartoonist. He kind of started by drawing comics and cartoons. There's a topical cartoonist, like a news cartoonist in the UK named Matt. And so given that my name is also Matt, he seemed like a pretty good role model, although I was a bit annoyed that I couldn't use the pen name because I never really had a good nickname as a kid. But yeah, I'd draw like characters and silly comics and stuff and copy out of like, you know, books of like cartooning techniques, or yeah, like, you know, 100 best cartoon characters and stuff like that. I tried to make topical cartoons, but I was 11 probably, like, yeah, 9, 10, 11, so probably didn't really have a grasp of like the news cycle per se. That never really took off. But yeah, I do like to doodle a lot still. I like to kind of listen to music and get really focused and just like draw shapes and shadows and things. And I was going to use the word abstract there, but I think I'm just maybe disguising the fact that I don't think I'm super good at drawing. So going abstract is like a decent way to hide that. Like, that line doesn't necessarily look good, but it's supposed to not look good. You know, it's supposed to. It's just all part of the plan. Yeah, I've always been happier when I've had some sort of kind of creative outlet. Certainly producing these videos over the last couple of years has been that. But also I've like, you know, I've probably shown stuff on the channel. I've drawn digital dog portraits, wrote poetry, and built custom diecast cars. Like, it's kind of like settling on one thing doesn't really work for my brain, but there's always a theme of making, generating something. I worked in finance for a really long time, but I never really felt like I was creating anything, just moving stuff around, not really ever generating anything of my own. Yeah, it's been fun to make, try and make these videos better and better, and that's a creative process in of itself, right? Like, not just the act of like making them, but then like trying to improve. And obviously there's like practical stuff, like fiscally affected stuff, the stuff that everybody could do if they had unlimited resources. So better camera, better lights, etc., which it doesn't seem super creative, but also just like, I don't know, the way I approach maybe topics, or the way I approach games, or I don't know, hopefully they're getting better content wise, and like edited better maybe, or more entertaining, or more relaxing, or whatever you're hoping to get out of them. I hope that you're getting out of them. Oh man, this got awkward. Yeah, I kind of figured this was going to happen because I don't know how far along we are entirely, exactly, but well, I've got half of a few letters, and I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, right now I'm recording this in my living room. I'm out of my usual recording studio because it's really early in the morning. I'm not a morning person whatsoever, but today I stayed up all night. I just went through all the way through. I think you just caught a glimpse of Mabel's head in that clip there. I'm just watching the video back, play as I kind of talk over it. I'm pretty sure that was Mabel's head that just popped into frame, which is kind of funny. Yeah. So I stayed up. I stayed up overnight. I wanted to get up yesterday early in the morning because I wanted to watch. England were playing, and even though I have no expectations that my presence at the game, live or not, or presence in front of the television, live or not, will make any difference. I was hoping I could get up, but I couldn't. It was 6 a.m. and I just couldn't do it. But yeah, but then I got into a bit of a flow state, doing some work, and just kept going. So yeah, I woke up a bit. Well, I don't know. I woke up at probably like 11, and now it's about 8 in the morning. I've just eaten breakfast. I'm gonna make some coffee, which I've heard that coffee is actually quite bad for recording. It kind of like dries out your mouth, so it's like harder to enunciate. But I don't know. I don't know if I've got another 40 minutes in me. I might do this in 2 sittings or something. I don't know. I mean, obviously I did the Jigsaw in multiple sittings. I can't tell if I've already changed my. I think I may have changed my jumper once already in this video. But yeah, the puzzle like sat on my table for at least a week while it was getting completed. I mean, it's been a while since I've done. It's been a while since I've done a Jigsaw, to be honest. We were on like a little, not really a vacation really, but a little like kind of getaway on one of the islands out here, and there was obviously like every B&B, it's like legally required that they come with at least one Jigsaw. So I did it. It was of cats too, which was pleasing. So I did a cat Jigsaw, which kind of got me in a bit of a kick. But that was only 500 pieces, and this one somewhat more complicated. I mean, not in terms of like the picture. Like I said, I've got these big blocks of color to work with, so that's pretty easy. And obviously that's where I'm starting. in the big rude word in the middle. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll get back into puzzles. I'm not sure. It's well, not that I've ever been super into them, but there's something about there's something that clicks with my mind with like simple repetitive tasks. That, you know, what's the word? Like they have like a solution, right? There is a definite solution to them. And don't get me wrong. Like I like problem solving and creatively kind of thinking of ways to solve things too. But there's something about a jigsaw puzzle that like just gets that like flow state. You know, like you can just really get into it because you know that you can do it. Right? There's one solution, and if you stick at it long enough, you'll be able to complete it. There's like no, like you can't lose at a jigsaw puzzle. But not only I don't think it's not about a winning. I don't mean to make it sound like that. There's like I don't know. There's just a flow that you can get into where, you know, time just kind of seems to disappear, and I like that space. I like that space. It's a space that I can get into every so often, but not, you know, it's still rare enough that it feels good. And so, yeah. Certainly I did a few. I think I already said like the video probably about 6 or 7 hours of footage. So probably about 6 or 7 hours of jigsawing. I don't know if that's a good time for a 1,000-piece jigsaw. I have no idea if that is even a measure that people use for jigsaw puzzles. But here we are. That's the world. That's the world we live in now. I'm talking about it, so maybe there is. Maybe we're going to speed run. We'll do a speed run of the next puzzle that comes onto the YouTube, the one player YouTube. But yeah, if this is your first time watching one of my videos, then this is probably not. Well, it's not super indicative of the rest of my channel. And if this isn't your first time watching one of my videos, then, well, you already know that, and you're probably wondering what the hell I'm doing. But yeah, I mean, I think there's something to be said for I don't know if you can hear that, but my dog is trying to make a nest out of pillows. She's come downstairs from being in bed, which is very kind of her. I'm not even cuddling her, which seems quite rude. You know, she's kind of given up the warm spot in the bed to come down and like look after me. You know, I think when they see that when she saw that I was downstairs, you know, so obviously like she probably thinks something is wrong. Like this is not normal for him to be up at night or up in the morning. You know, it's not normal, so we better protect him. If anyone comes, you know, if anyone tries to, you know, put something in the mailbox or something, you've got to make sure you fend them off. Yeah, I don't remember what I was talking about though. Do you mind? She's like, yeah, she's trying to kind of burrow her way into the pillow, like inside the pillow, which is, again, not exactly what you want in terms of in terms of a pillow owner. It's kind of a funny noise when I just notice that I've been tapping my fingers on the puzzle as I'm like thinking or considering my next move. It's funny to watch that at 1,000 speed, have it sound like little miniature galloping horses. Super fast miniature galloping horses. But yeah, I mean, look at this. We're making pretty good progress, aren't we? We've got We've got the rude word, and then we've got test, and we've got the giant N. I think it's coming along nicely. I don't want to spoil the ending, but just if you stick around, well, maybe I'll complete it, maybe I won't. No, I will. I mean, we've already been talking about that. That's the point of this, isn't it? But yeah. What else? Yeah, it's been a relatively productive night, and I'm hoping I can carry it on into the day. I'm trying not to think about, taking a nap, or like, kind of giving in to the tiredness. And like I said, I think I'll just try to treat it like a regular day. Have some coffee and just see what happens. Now, if I don't edit that out, which no, I probably will, because that's weird. I must be singing to myself. I think I must be singing to myself, because that is something I do quite a bit. But quite a bit, understatement. But yeah, there's like little mouse squeaks going on, like little fast voices. Yeah, I think I'll probably edit it out though. It's pretty obnoxious. So you're not going to hear it, and I'm just going to be talking about nothing. But that's okay, there's no difference there. I don't think I can concentrate with it going on. Yeah, that's better. I've turned my monitor off, and that is much more ear-friendly. For my ears at least, and your ears will be saved, because I've got to take that noise out. I didn't realize that my singing or whatever I'm doing, humming or whistling, I didn't quite realize that. I didn't quite realize that sped up 1,000 times it would sound like just an evil chipmunk. It's like Alvin, but just like gone terribly wrong. But yeah, I don't happen to remember what I was talking about. But yeah, I've been, I have been, you spend a lot of time on YouTube, and you try to kind of figure out what you want to do, and there's lots of people who tell you, or purport to be able to tell you, I should say, how to grow, how to get better, how to make better videos, how to set up your lights, etc., etc. And the more of those videos you watch, of course, like the more they get recommended. So I'm always trying to like watch interesting and kind of challenging kind of content, I guess, from other people, just to see what they're doing, just to see how they make, not necessarily board gamers, just to see how they do it, and to see how these self-designated YouTube kind of gurus would go about trying to grow a channel from relatively modest means and that sort of thing. It's quite interesting, because it's a mixture of a lot of different disciplines, which again is something that my brain quite likes. I like it when you can combine lots of different things into one. So like a YouTube channel isn't just like videos, right? Like it's not just I mean, if it were just being good at games, then I don't know if I'd be very good at YouTube, because I'm not super good at games. But I think I'm okay at talking about them, and I think I'm okay at teaching them. But then I also quite like making silly thumbnails on Photoshop and editing videos on stupid iMovie, or making logos or whatever. So I think there's like it's kind of a multidisciplinary thing, which is something that I do enjoy. It's like when you I had to write a paper this quarter, a final paper on the value of self-interrogation. And of course, there's many values to self-interrogation that you could approach paper from, but you know, it seems to me that the best approach is to usually just try to, you know, or many, if you want to get the best out of something, you have to pull from lots of different genres. You can't be dogmatic. You know, you can't be stuck to one set of ideas. I think it pays to be flexible. And you know, so if you wrote that paper only from, you know, I don't know, Plato's perspective, you know, it'd be fine, but it would be flat, you know. But if you can bring in, you know, contemporary thought and contemporary ideas, and bring in some psychology and bring in some, you know, neuroscience, or you know, whatever, I think you can make, you know, things get much more interesting when you can kind of draw links between different things. And I think I'd like to think that I'm half decent at that. It's a function of, I think, it's a function of kind of an overactive brain, you know, a little ADHD symptomology in there, which is fascinating to me because, you know, I think we're so quick to, I mean myself included, we're so quick to kind of hear, you know, hear these stories of neurodivergence and hear these words that go along with it. You know, ADHD has forever been this like, oh, that's just like, you know, it's just kids, you know, hyper kids who, you know, can't sit still, and it's just so so limiting in terms of what we think people can be and what they can do and how they think, and being neurodivergent is, it's I don't know, it's a fascinating gift if you look at it in a way. The way that you approach the world is, it can be so much different, and maybe you're looking, maybe you're just seeing things in a different way, and it's not wrong. It's just, yeah, it's just different. I don't know. I might be rambling, but as you can see, we've made some decent progress. I have changed my shirt, so this probably means it's a different day, because you know, one day a sweater, one day no sweater. That's how Seattle works. We're in a bit of a kind of a rainstorm at the moment in Seattle. It's been pretty rainy this week, and of course the week before was really hot. So who knows where it's going to go? But I don't mind the rain per se. You know, my wife and I have both agreed that it's still beneficial for us to go outside once in a while. so yeah, we're those Pacific Northwesterners, you know, walking our dogs in the rain. You know, we're still wearing raincoats, you know, but no umbrellas. That's not Pacific Northwest thing. But we haven't quite got to the flip flops and t-shirt shorts in the rain, but we'll probably get there eventually. This is an interesting technique that I'm using now, because I'm separating certain things into this box lid that I'm like, oh yeah, these can all go together and I can use them later. I say it's an interesting tactic because, well, it's not a good idea for me to set things aside and then try to remember that I have them later, because I will spend probably another 30 minutes later on in this puzzle trying to figure out where all the pieces have gone, and yeah, they happen to be in the box lid. So that was a smart move on my part, but yeah. So anyway, we're making some progress. We're putting the frame in, or at least kind of beginning to. The frame, I feel like took way too long, but that's kind of what I expected, I suppose. And yeah, of course, the other thing with the well, the one nice thing is that the frame is slightly curved, so it's got a shape to it, so you can kind of piece it together by shape as well as a shade of wood, I guess, on this. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, let me know if you want to see more of this. I mean, I've got a few more puzzles in my collection. I've got a moon. I do have some cats. I'm a fan. I don't mind it. You know, like I said, it's there's something linear about it, right? Like you can, if you really think about it hard enough, you can achieve it. Um, you know, it's the same as like a word search or like a labyrinth or some not all Sudokus, because some Sudoku variants are just ridiculously difficult, or at least they do need you know, some kind of like some pretty intense logic to get through. But you know, those kind of like those middle of the road Sudokus where maybe you've got to do some like, you know, you've got to do a little bit of, you know, you've got to do a little bit of X-winging, right? That's a thing. I've coined that as a verb now. You've got to find some X wings. You know, you've got to find some Y wings. But other than that, you're doing okay. You know, it's not too tough. Um, those kind of things. Or you know what I have been getting into actually is those like gridded logic puzzles. So like, you know, 5 restaurateurs are opening their restaurants on different streets in different towns. You know, what are they gonna? What's gonna be their special dish? And you've got to work out which chef goes to which restaurant, to which dish, to which town. And you've got that grid where you make like X's and O's to you know to notate that, you know, you'll get various clues. So, oh, you know, Chef Boyardee is not the restaurant that's going to be serving meatballs for dessert or whatever. And so you put an X in that column, you know, and make sure that you know that Chef Boyardee is not going to be serving meatballs and he's not going to be in this town. And then, you know, it says then, oh, well, the chef who is serving meatballs is going to be in XYZ town. And then you can check XYZ town off Chef Boyardee as well, because you know that Chef Boyardee is not making, etc., etc. You get the point. Maybe you already did, and I didn't need to make a fool out of myself trying to come up with an explanation on the spot. But yeah, I've been beginning to get into those a lot. Cause I think it's a similar thing. They're just like, you just gotta like, you know, it's just occupation for your mind, right? Occupation for your mind, and it's somewhat linear, and it's straightforward. I mean, they can be tricky, you know, they can be hard, and so you have to think about it. But it's a good kind of tricky, I think. Like it's a fun kind of tricky. Um, yeah, it's a fun kind of tricky. I do think I need to get back into pencil puzzles a little bit more. I got really into pencil puzzles there for a while, and I was doing a lot of Sudokus and a lot of variants and a lot of Japanese, you know, bridges and what is the Hashiwakero, I think that's called, and Suguru, and all sorts of little, yeah, interesting, fun number puzzles. And I haven't really done that in a while, so maybe I'll have to get back into that too. But it does sometimes feel like there's, well, you know, you've always got to make life is full of sacrifices, isn't it? You know, if I really wanted to, you know, dedicate my life to getting the best at puzzles, or, you know, improving my personal best at a 1,000-piece jigsaw such as this one, you know, one imagines I'd have to spend quite a lot of time on that. And yeah, I don't know. I struggle to commit to larger projects, like, or not larger. It's not necessarily larger projects. Just like I struggle to commit to, you know, like, gosh, that's a lot of. What if I don't want to do it in a year? Or what if I don't want to be the best? What if I don't want to, you know, jigsaw puzzle my way to fame? What then? And that's well, that's always been the question, hasn't it? What if I don't want to jigsaw puzzle my way to fame? What's left? And we can ask that of ourselves every day, and maybe it'll be a different answer. You know, what do we want to do if it's not jigsaw puzzles? Do we want to, you know, today is a let's just go to work and you know, collect a paycheck day, or maybe it's you know, maybe it's a follow your dreams day and go and, you know, say screw it, you know, take off your pants and run into the desert. I can't stop you. I think I've changed my sweater again. I've changed my sweater, and the jigsaw there, I think probably you probably would have noticed it did change position on the table, because this is quite a big jigsaw. I mean, it's not a small puzzle. So I had my camera rigged up very high, and it was kind of moving around, like not during filming. I don't think you will have noticed it shifting by any means, but it was a little trepidatious. So I had to kind of move, rather than like risk moving the camera. I decided I would move the puzzle instead, to kind of try to get it in frame, you know. Yeah, so this bit took, this probably is the longest, one of the most complicated parts of the puzzle, because it's just greens. Right now I'm just working with greens, which is, you know, again, that's fine. It's just, yeah, this part was the toughest. And of course the frame, which did feel like it. You know, I feel like I got in front of the puzzle and was like, oh yeah, okay, I'm done pretty much. All I've got to do is do the edge. And then another 2 hours passed, and and we weren't quite done with the edge yet. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say, which is unfortunate because I think there's still at least 7 minutes left. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'll say I hope you're well. I hope you're doing okay. You know, this is a weird. It's been a weird year, and I know for lots of people, it's been a year that has kind of facilitated change. It's facilitated shifts, and I think we're all realizing, as you know, as we kind of go back to quote normal, that some of that change can't just be put back in the box. You know, it can't just be like, you can't just undo it or just pretend it never happened. I think there's an interesting, I don't know, expansion of what's okay. I was okay. So my son got a gecko. He adopted a gecko yesterday, and it was my job, of course, to go and pick up crickets for this gecko to devour. And I was standing in line at Petco, or I was walking around in Petco today. I'm sorry, my dog's just, I think my dog. I imagine my microphone's picking this up. I mean, it's a shotgun mic, so it's not super. You know, it's pretty directional, but there's got to be some snoring in the background, so I do have to apologize. But maybe it's nice, maybe it's relaxing. I find the snores quite comforting. But anyway, yeah. So I was walking around in Petco, and I saw this kind of like this mother and her child, and they both give me kind of a dirty look, and they both give me a side eye, you know. And I was like, oh man, I wonder if it's, you know, what could it be? Is it because I was basically wearing like running tights, which is, I know it's not something you probably should do in public necessarily, but you know, it wasn't explicit, and they're just really comfortable. They're like wool lined, you know. It's like just a comfy pair of leggings. There's nothing I can do about it. But anyway, I was like, figuring like, oh, maybe it's that. Like maybe she thinks it's like, you know, pretty obnoxious to me to be wearing leggings while in the crickets and mealworm section of a pet store, which is, you know, again, reasonable. I get it. But then when I was in line, I looked up, and this is the first time I like looked up and like really considered what I was doing, and I realized everyone was wearing masks, and of course I wasn't. I mean, I was going to say, of course, of course everyone was wearing masks, and I usually I would be too. I'm not. It's not actually like me to forget it. I just forgotten it completely, which is odd because it's only it's been maybe a week since I got my second vaccine. It's not like I'm feeling I don't feel invincible, or whatever. And I think obviously for the most part we're going to be likely wearing masks for a little bit longer. Even if it's just to kind of put each other at ease, I think it makes sense. But yeah, I was maskless, friends. I was maskless in public. Honestly, I was embarrassed, and I tried to play it off to the cashier. I was like, I am so sorry. Like I just didn't think. I don't know how that happened. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it happened. I suppose it's some sign of me like ready to be going back to normal. But at the same time, yeah, I feel like yeah, lots of people were kind of coming around to like, huh, Norman, Norman. I just said the word Norman and then was completely befuddled as to what I was saying. Normal, yes, normal. Yeah, maybe it wasn't that good. Some of it was great. Don't get me wrong. And I'm excited, in some ways, for things to go back to the way they were. But in others, like, there's no reason that we need to be sitting in an office for 60 hours a week, is there? Like, there just isn't. We live in a place where, in a time where it's just not necessary. You can do everything. Do everything on the internet. It's not. And this I'm not trying to suggest this as any sort of like mind blowing idea that I'm coming up with. It right now. It just seems it just seems yeah, I don't know. Just seems kind of obvious, I suppose. Like lots of people are deciding that wasn't really for them, and I think that's really cool. And I'm sure that adult students are on the rise. I'm sure that there's people kind of reevaluating their priorities as we speak. I'm sure that there are people, but yeah, we are getting close, aren't we? We're getting close. I would say we've only got what? I'd say we've got 50 pieces to go, maybe. So I suppose it's a decent time for me to wrap up. I didn't expect to be able to ramble for this long, but there we are. I mean, it's not like I've never done it before. I mean, my live streams are pretty much one big, giant stream of consciousness, so I suppose I shouldn't be too surprised. I have been interrupting with my own yawning for some time. I think it is catching up with me a little bit, so I think I'm going to do some coffee. Yeah, I'm going to do some coffee pretty soon. I mean, I think is it the dog's snore? Can I blame it on the dog's snore? It's like it's a siren's call. I feel so relaxed. It just makes me want to like close my eyes. Well, I hope you had the same experience, except well, if you wanted to keep your eyes open, that's fine too. But even if you didn't, that's all right as well. I just want to extend my gratitude for you watching this video, this experimental one puzzler video. Look at that. We even got a shot of my noggin there. It felt good too. This is a nice looking puzzle. Alright friends, well, that is going to be it from me. I've talked at you for nearly 40 minutes about something, and I guess we'll take this to the editing suite and see how it goes. But yeah, just want to say thank you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of this lovely community. Subscribe if you are new. Go check out the Discord if you haven't already. Go look at the Patreon. Some good stuff over there. And that's all I'm going to say. Until next time, I will see you later.